Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing. Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, testing.
1 minute remaining in practice. Thank you. Practice is over. Please get up on your draw with a clockwise rotation.
So while the practice is going on, I've got Scott Pfeiffer here, who is the National Mix Development Coach, or something like that. I'm going to ask Scott what his favorite memory about the Stettler Recreation Center is.
That's certainly an easy one. I just want to first off thank the town Stettler for inviting our teams out to play on some fabulous games. It's amazing preparation for the upcoming World Mixed Doubles Championships and the Canadian Mixed Doubles as well. in the back area.
Thanks, Scott. I'm going to move over here to Team Peterman and Gallant. I've got a few questions for you guys. So, what's the best thing about mixed curling in your opinion? Jocelyn, you can answer this.
It's just a fun game. You'll see today, I guess, if you haven't watched it before, but it's really fast paced. The ends go by quickly, and there's a lot of rocks in play and a lot of action.
Great, thanks. Okay, this one's for Brett. When you're playing with your partner, are your inside voice and your outside voice saying the same thing?
Always, yes, yeah. Jocelyn and I have a golden rule when we're playing together, and it's that she's always right. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that golden rule all the time? Okay, was the curling rink where the two of you met? And what curling rink was the first, where was the first time you met?
Well, first, how we got together was our first event was the National Mixed Doubles Championship, and it was in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And we actually curled against Geoff and Muyres in the final of that event. So this is a grudge match that 9 years in the making. But yeah, Jocelyn and I decided to grow together 10 years ago, just because we thought we would like to give mixed doubles curling a try, and thought we'd get along well on the ice, and it worked out. So.
Okay, this one's for Jocelyn, because I think you're a Red Deer girl, aren't you originally? Oilers or Flames?
Even my family were pretty much split down the middle. But we live in Chesterfield now, so I probably got to play.
Yeah, a team?
Flames now.
Eagles or Chiefs?
I'd like to see the Eagles win one.
Yeah. Okay, when you're at home, the house is a mess. Who sweeps up better?
Our son, actually, our 1-year-old, he loves to sweep, so yeah, he helps me out, I think, more than he helps mom.
Okay, we're getting on here. Now you both have great mixed careers and you have personal careers. What would you rate your most memorable curling moment?
My most memorable curling one was probably curling with Geoff in the 2017 Briar in St. John's, Newfoundland. Winning our first Briar together in front of our hometown fans in St. John's at that time. That was pretty special. And then just the most recent win with Jocelyn at the mixed doubles trials is right up there too. So tough to pick anything else too.
Me too. Probably, yeah, I guess similar. My first Scotties win with Lainey, our mixed doubles coach was on my women's team. We won that, and then, yeah, winning the Olympic trials together last month was pretty special.
Well, that's great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And I hope you go 2-0 against this team. So Scott, another question for you. Obviously, there's a way different strategy with the mix, but what are you trying to encourage? All offense, some defense, or what's the strategy going into the mixed game?
I think if you play too defensive in mixed doubles, you probably give up more ends. Jocelyn, a lot of great shots being made.
Thank you. Here's a question for Andy. So Andy, you've got a long day of curling, you go back to your hotel room, and I'm assuming you get in your little black onesie pajamas. Do you ever lay in bed and think, tomorrow morning I'm going to get up, I'm going to put on lime green pants, I'm going to put on a bright red setter, and I'm going to change it up?
Many times we thought about that with our chief Brett, but he doesn't want to listen to us.
So you continue to be the man in black. Okay. Do you carry a taser? I heard you have a taser.
Hello, everybody. My name's Gord Coppathorne. I have the pleasure of being with you through this exhibition mixed doubles match. We've got Rhett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman playing Geoff and Laura Walker squared. This is, again, an exhibition match so that the next Olympian team we have has an opportunity to practice on arena ice. This ice is being brought to you by Darren Moulding and his crew, and it has been an exceptional sheet of ice. So we're running about 15 seconds on draw, 5 feet of curl, very, very clean curling. We've had very little comments about it, so we should see no impact of the ice on this game. So the Walkers have graciously offered to have an exhibition match, and it is going to be a really good event. So, mixed doubles. I'm sure most of you are aware of how this works, but we'll just walk through it quickly. So, each end, there's a prescribed setup. There's a guard out front, which is the team without hammer, and the team with hammer has a rock at the back of the forefoot. That's how every single end is set up. There is effectively 6 rocks for each team, so they both throw 5 in addition to the 2 that are placed out. The rules are fairly close to 4-man. The main difference being the guard zone rule. So in 4-man, you can't take out a guard until the 6th thrown rock. In mixed doubles, you can't hit anything until the 5th thrown rock. So subtle little difference, but it does make an impact that you can't take out anything. So you tend to see a significantly larger amount of rocks crowded in the forefoot, navigating to try to create. One of the things I tell most people to be very mindful of is the very first rock from each team. You'll see if there's a difference in quality of shot. If one lead outthrows the other lead, that creates a really significant advantage because you only have 5 rocks to work with. So you'll tend to see that they get a distinct advantage about 60% of the time that they're going to end up scoring, and the other team ends up chasing with a lot of hits or runbacks or things. So just something to kind of pay attention to. So they're currently doing the draw to the button. That will define who has hammer in the first end. So they throw 1 each. In mixed doubles, both players throw a draw to the button. One player throws the out turn, one player throws the in turn. They measure both and then they add the distances together. The cumulative amount defines who has hammer. In some events, that also plays into tiebreakers if it's a round robin. So Geoff threw his first one, and it was pretty much covering the pin. So now Laura's throwing hers. All right, playing in the back forefoot. On the right side, you'll see Scott Pfeiffer walking up and down. He's the Curling Canada representative for mixed doubles. So shout out to Scott Pfeiffer for orchestrating this event. He's a big contributor to the success of mixed doubles in our province. We are coming to you live out of Stettler, Alberta. This is obviously where the 2025 Boston Pizza Cup is being played, the men's championship. We have gotten through all of the triple knockout rounds, and this evening we start the first round of the Page playoff. I believe the next broadcast is at 6:30, so I certainly encourage you to come and watch. One match will feature Kevin Cooley versus Evan Van Amsterdam. The other match will feature Jacob Libis versus Dylan Vavrick. It's a Page playoff, so the loser of the Cooley Van Amsterdam game will play the winner of the Vavrick Libis game tomorrow at, I believe, 1:30. And then I think it actually might be 10 a.m. And then the finals are at 3 p.m. All of that, of course, will be broadcast on Curling Alberta's YouTube channel.
We've got the team in black. Laura, get out of the way. Team in black, Jocelyn, Peterman, and Brett Gallant. And their opponents are fired up to get revenge from that 2016 match in outfits that don't really match.
They're just doing quick introductions of the teams down on the sheet.
Laura Walker and Geoff Walker. Good luck, teams, and good curling.
You'll also see a couple of umpires walking back and forth. We are running this event as a properly executed match. It has timers and it has officials just to keep pace of play and adhere to the rules. So thank you to all the umpires who are willing to put in a little bit of extra effort to support this exhibition match. Every little bit helps the teams be ready for Olympics. All right, so as you can see, Walker Squared won the draw to the button and have hammer to start. So Jocelyn Peterman is going to start us off. So in mixed doubles, you do not need somebody in the house. You can have the thrower aim at an imaginary broom, and then the other player can sweep right from the onset. Another subtle difference with four-man and mixed doubles. Little over curl from Jocelyn on that one, but hey, it's a rock in front of the tee line, or on the tee line in front of the red one. So Laura and Geoff will go after it on the other side, try to get inside of that. Frozen on the inside would be a huge advantage to start this match. Geoff managing the weight, coming down to the inside, looking like a really nice draw. Just a hair light. So this is what you see a lot of in mixed doubles, a lot of rock stacking and small taps. So they're top four, so Brett's happy with a corner freeze or even just to push them underneath the tee line. Make a giant wall of rocks that they can play with. That's the advantage when you don't have hammer, is tons of rocks behind tee line. In this case, Brett and Jocelyn elect to have Jocelyn hold the broom and then Brett jumps up to sweep his own rock. You see numerous teams behave in that manner. Little bit light and inside, so ends up racking on the guard. So now Walker Squared is going to try to create a strong angle aimed at that yellow one. If they corner freeze their own, it's a single shot away from sitting three. Walker Squared also elects to do Laura in the house and Geoff sweeping his own. This is coming in really nice. Trying to freeze it, don't want to bump it too much. Little bit of error there. Jocelyn and Brett should be able to put a hit through that gap and just eliminate 2. Even if it's the yellow they eliminate, that's behind the tee line. They'd like to keep that there. Might get the double in the reds. One of the staples of mixed doubles at this level is the ability to throw up weight so that you take curl out of the equation. Little full on it, clipped the front one, but did manage to get the red off the top of the 4-foot. So they have a little nest of reds under the tee line. Looks like yellow is shot, so you'll probably see rocker squared do somewhat of the same shot, play through the port in some manner. Laura's saying, let's weld one in the pocket. Let's get there first. If we're in the pocket, then they can't get us out. Geoff agrees. Plenty of curl on this ice, so you can make any of these draws with the precision they have. Getting a little close to the guard. Ooh. Very nice shot. Actually ends up frozen on the yellow one. Choices being now that same through the port. Move as many rocks as you can. Red obviously stays. Otherwise, you could try a draw around the outside and freeze into a similar shot like Geoff just did. Electing to move rocks. Same shot, just a little bit less ice. Or not. Brett says that doesn't look so good from down here. Upon review, survey says still uncertain. All right, we're going for the same draw Geoff just threw. Freeze right into that kind of red pocket. They weren't happy with the idea of 2 reds staying for 1 yellow. So let's just put another one in and create some good angles. Wait, looks close. Definitely by the guard. You need to be by a good probably 6 inches because Geoff was super tight to it and over curled. I think they were actually targeting the back red on the freeze, but hey, yellow rock and play. Laura indicating a guard might be a good choice. Again, Walker squared have hammer, and it kind of looks like they're sitting 2. So their biggest threat is that straight back run back. So they're going to park this one even a corner underneath of that center yellow. Coming in nicely, looking for top 12, at least a piece buried. Don't want to get all the way down to the pile. So that certainly takes away that run back. That is a mess of rocks in the forefoot for the first end. They said they're going after it right from the hop. Looks a bit like they are contemplating nudging their yellow or just another straight freeze. A bit hard to tell without a clean overhead. I would kind of assume they're working on locking up, just giving up 2. One of the things you need to do in mixed doubles is be honest with yourself about how to give up points and how to minimize the points to give up. So that's what this looks like to me. Secure giving up 1 or 2. Jocelyn with her draw. She's got it out there plenty far. Brett seems to be happy with the weight. Spring cutting a little harder than expected. That one's really bending off the wall side. Well, they certainly made the draw harder with splitting the guard. I'm not entirely sure there's a lot of ways that they can get another one in. Question is, can they actually bounce the yellows out? Geoff checking to see where the yellows are going to go. Certainly seems like there's potential. Hit half of the red into the yellow and it should kick out the side. That yellow in the back might catch the one the red or yellow's frozen to, because again they froze to the top red on the forefoot. So it would seem like you can actually get both yellows to kick out. You would get 3 red. Depends where things fly. Laura's certainly capable of throwing the weight required to move lots of rocks. All right, let's see what we get. Normal weight. It's got to come a little off that yellow. Just skin past it. Ooh! And yellow goes, and that's 4? 3, 4? 4 reds on the board. Excellent shot by the Walker pair. And jumping out to an early lead. All right, while they're setting up the next end, I'll take a little bit of a moment to call out some of the sponsors of this greater event, if you will. Again, this is the setup for the 2025 Alberta Boston Pizza Cup, the men's championship, brought to you in part by Best Western. We are up in a sunny but chilly Stettler, Alberta, and the host committee is actually the Erskine Community Club. Really, really fascinating story. If anybody's running a club across this province and wants to see creativity in action, you should come out and have a conversation with Erskine. They are full of great ideas. Anyways, so they're hosting this event. We're in the Stettler Arena. Curling Alberta is obviously a part of the action, and in this case, the title sponsor is Boston Pizza, an absolutely phenomenal crew of franchisees up in the Edmonton area that have been a huge part of curling in Alberta for, I think it's about 50 years now. It's been a terrific relationship. So kudos to Boston Pizza. They are all curlers themselves. They're super friendly people. So thank you very much for that. All right, coming into this end, as you can see, of course, they got the red guard out front and the yellow one behind the back. So Laura is first to throw. I'm going to put it this way. When you are the one with hammer, you don't actually want it to be heavy. You actually, gotta be careful when I say that. You want to at best create a pocket. So that right there is decent because you're creating a wall behind the tee line. You don't want to add a guard. So you wouldn't want to throw it up beside the other one because then they have 2 guards to hide behind. You also don't want to push it out, obviously, because that's the way the mixed doubles rules work. You can't take any rock out with the first 5. So in principle, you want to be fully in the 4-foot or possibly pop the back one a foot or 2 to create that extra backing. Jocelyn here is going to look to basically weld this right on top of that red one. That's a really nice freeze. So early advantage to yellow. They're sitting 2 and the angles are in their favor. If that yellow-red pair gets hit, then it's clearly going to be yellow sitting 2. So Geoff and Laura are going to try to weld one back on top of the pile. Part of it is that subtle angle management. Goal 1, freeze to it. Goal 2, can you massage the angle a little bit? Can you actually get inside the nose of the yellow, push it back out so the yellow-red is aimed at the other yellow? Those are the kinds of little subtleties you look for. This one's floating on Geoff, so they're not going to get that outcome. He's also, call it 5-6 feet heavy. They did push it over onto the back one, but that's not a huge win. So Jocelyn and Brett will look to stack up the front of the 4-foot. Jocelyn actually tightened up the ice a little bit there, so maybe this direction's a little less than 5 feet of curl. You're not looking to move the yellow. You wouldn't mind being slightly across the nose so a hit would catch on the back red. Really bending. Woo! Just a bit light too, so they cut the ice down a little bit, and Brett was call it a few feet light. So that opens the door. Geoff and Laura again trying to freeze one in there. Gotta be a little cagey. If they put it two in between those 2 yellows, then it's still gonna catch on the back red. They can afford to push the yellow one back into those other pairs, creating more of a wall back there. It's a bit hard to tell whether the yellow at the front or the red behind the 4 is the 3rd shot at the moment. Question here is whether to take advantage of the angles or not. If they freeze on that red one, then they do have a really good chance to just kind of pop it out and sit 3. The ends go fast. There's only 5 rocks to throw, so you can't wait too long for taking a chance. Tighten the ice up a lot, so it kind of looks like they want to move that red one. So if you hit 3/4 of that red one, the yellow catches on the back red, that red spins out the side, probably out to the 12. Gotta get past the guard, gotta get a little bit off a nose. Looking really good. Picks it clean off the front. Good to get rid of that one red, but still leaving a lot of opportunities for eliminating yellows. Good freeze. You could throw an in off double. The freeze would be my inclination. It's going to be real hard to get it out if it's in between those yellows. If you were to freeze high side on the yellow on the B of BPs, it's 2 shots to get it out. So you're setting yourself up really well for a force of 1. Geoff wisely erring a little bit on the firmer side. A little bump is fine as long as it stays in between them. Perhaps a little more than he was after. Also curled a hair more than they were after, so they could actually play some weight at this now. Brett's considering playing off of their own. That would then get that red one going straight sideways out the side of the house. If you hit the red one first, it has to split off the yellow at the back. The art of coaching and doing commentary for mixed doubles is reading body language to decide what they're doing. So they're clearly throwing weight at this. It would seem like they want as much of that red as they probably can, because it'll kick off the back yellow out the side of the house. That yellow runs into the other red, which then spins down under the other red, and maybe you get left sitting 3 yellows. They're either hitting the yellow one first or really thin on the red. It's a bit hard to tell with that broom placement. Okay, he's playing the in-turn, so he's definitely going after his red one or yellow one first. I'm just trying to kick the red straight sideways. A little thinner than he was after, but pretty much the goal. So that back red's looking really lonely. So Walker Squared has to be really cautious about how they place this. Red right in between those 2 yellows is ideal because you can't get it out-ish. So long as you can manage the spin. The thing they got to be afraid of is both of those yellows are sitting on reds. If you get that freeze a little off, you can get it spinning out with peel, and Jocelyn can throw it that hard. The alternative would be to throw it top 4 foot, buried under that long center guard, but then that yellow one is usable to kick it out. So they've elected to freeze down right into the pocket of those 2 yellows and hope that there's no air anywhere, so then Jocelyn can't just drill it, and she's going to be forced to probably a draw. Let's see what they got. This is an extremely precise team shot. I've seen several of them over curl here, but it's looking really good. He's saying back 4. Really close. It curled enough that it's partly under the red guard. There is an opportunity to use the yellow one in the top right. You could drive that into the pile, but the red probably sticks hard. They got enough curl there that I don't think they can throw weight because the slight tuck under, so it would appear that they're forced to draw for their 1. I'm a bit curious if that yellow into the red would get it bouncing out. But anyways, they're the experts, so we'll go with them on this one. Just drawing into the forefoot, you've got backing. You may be able to cross the nose, get two, but... Really nice draw coming here by Jocelyn. Puts it right on the P of Boston. Puts it on the lower part of the P of Boston Pizza. All right, well, we see them set up the next end. Let's move on to another sponsor of compliments. So Best Western. Best Western has been a partner of Curling Alberta for a very long time as well. They're the preferred accommodations partner, as we'd like to call it. And yeah, it's been probably over 20 years. It's almost hard to go through the records to see. So Best Western is scattered all across the province, and many of us have spent nights in there. So thank you very much to Best Western for supporting curling and giving us somewhere to stay at night. So Jocelyn's throwing first. They obviously got their one. They got their work cut out for them, but it is mixed doubles. Anybody can score any end. Jocelyn electing to go with the out turn. So you kind of saw last end where Laura threw her first one and it was a bit heavy. Okay, fine. It pushed the one in the back into the 8-foot, but it did exactly what way I tried to explain. It ended up being a catcher for all of that stuff. So Jocelyn and Brett never really got a chance to really clear out the space. So this one here, Jocelyn's a little bit on the light side, coming up second, but biting the top of the 4. A little more buried than you'd like with it being that way. Could make it tricky to use it later. Laura will be looking to probably get underneath of that one. It's not the end of the world to freeze either of them, frankly. You freeze the back red one. Peterman and Gallant can't hit it yet, so that clutters up there. But if you freeze the front one, then it cuts off a whole bunch of the 4-foot and the attempts to steal. So in short, anything from T-line to top 12, and let Geoff put it where he wants to. This is a little warm. Kind of sliding past. So it didn't end up corner frozen. That actually changes the situation a little bit, because now both reds make it wide backing, and both reds could go if you end up hitting that one later. So Brett will look to put this one nicely into that pocket. Here I'm saying back 4, which in Laura's case ran through the curl a little bit. Won't want to be on the outside of the red here. It's curling up though. It's looking pretty good. Very nice freeze. So now Walker Squared have a bit of a conundrum for them. Do they continue to play this stacking game, or do you just start trying to clear things out a little bit? They're electing to throw another freeze. And in all fairness, they're up 4-1, so they lock this on and try for plus or minus 1. They'll be perfectly happy with that, because they did get kind of outplayed on those first ones. Jocelyn's draw was a better attempt than Laura's, and what I was saying before, that tends to create significant pressure on the other team. Geoff, as well as Laura, a little heavy on his draw. This is really turning into a big advantage for Peterman and Gallant. It's hard to tell who's second and third and fourth from where we're sitting. I would like to think it's yellow, red, red, then yellow. Looking to tap that top yellow one 3 or 4 inches and really set up a very secure 2. The temptation here would be to try to figure out a way to steal 2 or 3 and tie the game immediately, but in all fairness, it's a long game. Secure your 1, maybe you get 2. So they're looking to push this one down. Little tight to the guard. Over curling a little bit. It's not bad, not bad. Those angles are not great for Walker squared. So they're going to look to just move some granite. This is when you know you're doing a good job when the pressure's high, when all of a sudden you're seeing runbacks. Runbacks are not a desired shot by curlers and mixed doubles. It's there. If you make them, you generally get a great outcome, but it's not something you look to be doing because it really means the pressure's on and you're looking at giving up a couple points. Let's see what Geoff's got. Looks close, looks close. Just a little bit thick. If it curled 1/4 inch farther than that one that he drove in, still would have doubled the yellows out, but then it would have left. So as it is, yellow's still shot, frozen in a pocket, and they still have 2 guards. So that was a 1/4 inch from a brilliant shot, and instead left them in a bit of a tight spot. Bit awkward. So that's what I mean. You don't want to rely on runbacks in this game. You don't have enough shots to double up on them. So Brett and Jocelyn electing to throw another one into the button. Corner freeze the back red one. That's really the shot that Laura and Geoff have to bail out of trouble, is draw the edge of the 4-foot, or sorry, the edge of the button. So they're trying to take that one away as well. Looking really good. Doesn't want to hit his own. All right, pretty good. So now they're going to try to get this one in there. End up leaving Laura and Geoff a pocket to put one into as well. I'm not sure who would end up as shot. Having moved their own a little bit, maybe this is possible to be closer to the pin. You might be thinking why Brett didn't throw his above his own to try to cut off the button. It would have created a rock that they could slash in to get rid of 2 or 3. So they were basically going to the back red to try to take away those counters at the back permanently. This is over curling. This is going to clip the front yellow. That was so close to great, and yet that is not a particularly great outcome. So that leaves yellow sitting 2, a path cut off, very little on the right side. So now Jocelyn's just going to look to take away what's left on the left side. So any kind of a guard in front of that one Geoff just threw. Red indicating that their best chance is to drive that red into the pocket. So If they can take that away, then they might very well end up only down 1. They're talking about pushing that front yellow down into the pocket to really put the pressure on. But that actually could open up an opportunity for Geoff and Laura to take yellows out. I do think the guard is the more appropriate shot. Being that this is an exhibition game, it'd be really easy to take on a shot you want to try, but may not be officially the right one. So they have to be really cognizant of this being a practice for going to the Olympics. So what would you do if this was a gold medal match? This guard's what I would think is the right one. I don't see a lot on the right side of this house that gives Geoff and Laura much to work with. So, looking to cover the outer half of the red rock Geoff just threw. Anything, any height, as long as it's covering the other half and not frozen to it. Right about there. Not so much there. That's definitely not so much where they were after. Unfortunately, they did leave too much of that red one exposed, and Geoff and Laura can play the slash into the pocket. They may have thought, whoosh, there's good English. They might have thought to actually play that guard crossing the center line and climb the hill, so to speak, as opposed to go with it. A lot of times when you're throwing a guard in the 8-foot region, it's easier to cross the center line. But suffice to say, the guard didn't work out as planned, so now Laura just has to catch about, call it a third from where I'm sitting, that red one, drive it into those 2 yellows, and somebody's getting one. Normal weight. Geoff's on it right away. It's a little close to the guard. It's past the guard. That's a really nice shot. Looks like 1 red. We'll see what they decide to actually post. While they're doing that, I will finish off the list of Curling Alberta sponsors. I as a Curling Alberta member, certainly appreciate all of what they do for us. So the other sponsors are Sentinel Storage, Original 16, Bel Air Direct, Heck Gervais Academic and Scholarship Foundation, a fantastic group that provides scholarships to kids going into university every year. Tip of the hat to them. And Sandbagger. They are also a delightful little treat at the end of a long day. And I will, of course, tip my hat to every single volunteer in this building. I've been here for the better part of the week, and it doesn't matter if it's midnight. These wonderful people from Erskine and Stettler and other surrounding areas have a smile on their face. Absolutely delightful hosts and volunteers. So, kudos to them. All right, so we have our chief umpire, Andy Jones. I think that's Andy. I'm going to say it's Andy. Putting up the score. That wasn't Andy, but that's okay. For anyone who does know Andy, I would like to compliment him. Just recently, he got elevated to a level 4 umpire in Canada, which is actually a very significant accomplishment. He's now able to do events like the Olympics as well. So if anybody knows Andy, feel free to give him a congratulations next time you see him. All right, so Laura trying for her freeze of the yellow at the back. Looking a little on the light side. Possibly a lot on the light side. They're both sweeping. And they're going to put it in what we call the pit of death. That is where you don't want to put a rock. because you can't use it, and it's basically a second guard. If Jocelyn welds one to her own here, that red one is a double guard. You can't slash it. You might be able to tap. It's hard. Geoff and Laura would have been better off to leave that half open, even just biting the 12-foot as something they could use later. So yes, when we're teaching younger people to play, we try to say, don't put it in the 8-foot, 12-foot right behind the middle guard. Especially on swingy ice like this, where you can easily hook half a rock underneath it. Not being judgmental, just saying, oops. So now, if Jocelyn welds this to the nose of her own, it's going to really put some serious pressure on Walker Square. Looking good, looking good. That is a really nice shot. So now Walker and Walker are going to try to corner freeze that one, and they're already looking at being third shot. So this needs to be a really nice freeze. Bouncing off wouldn't be good either. A little pressure on Geoff here. It's a little stronger than Laura. Not a lot of sweeping. That's not usually a good sign. Corner freeze the back foot. Maybe not. Overcompensated. Oof. They're looking at a barrel of monkeys this end. I'm inclined to have that shot, the inside corner freeze of that red one. Jocelyn was originally thinking to cut off the outside of the sheet, but then that leaves that same shot Geoff just tried. You have to try to corner freeze that front red, and you actually cut a lot of everything off. Just don't slide past and freeze to your own. That would be not so bueno. This is quite a ways out there. Brett switching to try to make a curl. Wait, looks pretty close. Well, that's a bit interesting. Not sure how to call that. An inch or two farther and tucked under the red, maybe. But then they smash it, and 2 yellows leave. Geoff and Laura are looking at hitting, well, frankly, as little of that red one as they can. It'll go straight sideways into the yellow Brett just through, and then spin down into the yellow in the top of the 4, pushing it underneath of the T line, leaving them in front of a bunch of backing. That'd be a really cool shot. Let's see if he can pull it off. It's not too often you hit. Oh. Judging by his grip, he's switching to the peel, the run back. Little in out. All right, going for the yellow. Okay. That's given them more opportunities. Yellow's going to just try to drop this one on the top of the PP. See if Brett had really good weight on the last one, just a little bit too much line. So drop this one into the BP. Don't go too deep or they'll just freeze you back and cut you to 1. Once again, he switched to the make it curl side. Likes the weight. Tried really hard to get it over. No longer trying to get it really over there. Must like it. A little bit short of what he was after. So now they're back to looking at the yellow slash. You get rid of 2 yellows, but you're not going to be in the 4-foot. Which then would be a fairly straightforward draw scenario. I think Geoff likes it though, so same kind of weight. Red into the pair of yellows, get rid of 2 yellows, never a bad outcome. All right, let's see what we got. It's kind of fun watching a lead throwing peel weight hits. Here it comes. Close, close. Laura's on the sweep. Here it goes. Bang, 1. Oh, a little too thin. But, red's still there. Brett and Jocelyn have to deal with the red. The bummer is if they do deal with the red, then the yellows are very scattered, and Laura's going to have to throw a really cagey freeze to get out of trouble. I would definitely be inclined to do that if I was them. I suppose there's the potential of hitting it into your own or rolling out, which wouldn't be ideal. So anyways, they're going back to the well and throwing that draw back into the top 4 foot. That would leave Laura the red slash again, possibly a freeze, but then you're still drawing for your 2, which is perfectly fine. So Brett's looking to throw, call it 2 feet more than he did on the last one. Must be a little inside. He's sweeping against the curl. Just looking to be half to just full in the 4 foot. Pretty good, pretty good. Unfortunately, Laura could freeze the front and cut out the back one. I think it curled enough to take away a decent double shot. Slash, as I was saying before, wouldn't make the return shot all that difficult. So basically, they're looking to freeze the one Brett just threw, because it will cut out the back yellow. And then Jocelyn will draw the edge of the 4 foot right past the one Brett just played. This is basically saying, earn your 2. No more, no more. You have a shot for 2. I don't see any particularly good way to change the outcome more than that. So this is the easiest way to hold them to 2. So this is really close to the draw. Laura threw to start the end. Just bite the 4 foot. Looking pretty good. Very nice shot. Is it possible to slash out those 2 reds? I don't know where the first contact red goes. It's pretty steep. It might spin right straight back down into the yellow at the back of the house. It's like the 2-inch double takeout. The upside is, you miss it, you still get one. Can't really make it worse for yourself. So they're going to take a rip at it. Hit that red one as thin as you can. Call it a little less than thin as you can. So you're looking about at a quarter of a rock. Hit the other red one and then get that one spinning and hope it doesn't catch on the back yellow. That's the bonus. You could get a 3 out of it. But ideally, at least get your 2. Obviously, they think there's a shot for the 3, or they would just simply draw the edge of the 4-foot for the obvious 2. Here we go. Here we go. Must be a little thick. Brett's on it right away. Whoop, too thick. Well, took all our yellows out, but they still got one. That was the acceptable risk. Worst case scenario, you get one no matter what. Unfortunately, she didn't get all the way out to her broom, so 1 on the board for yellow. That makes it 5-2. We have 4 ends in the books. Thus far, outside of the first end, it's been a very tight back and forth. A few mistakes here and there by each crew. So again, tonight's draw for the next round of the men's is at, I believe, 6:30. Let me double check my notes here. Yes, 6:30. It'll be streaming on YouTube again. It will be Kevin Cooey versus Evan Van Amsterdam. The stalwart versus one of the newbies. That'll be an exciting match to say the least. And then on the other sheet, there'll be Vavrick versus Jacob Libis. The North versus the South. Will be epic in and of itself, because that's the losers out, and the winner gets to play the losers of the other 2. So I encourage everybody to join us. I, of course, also encourage you to participate in the 50-50. You can find that on Curling Alberta's website. We are projecting it to reach upwards of $10,000 today. Last I checked, I think it was in at around 5,000 just with one draw today. So by all means, jump on board with that and try to earn yourself a beautiful, I don't know, vacation, whatever you want to do. 5,000-ish bucks. That's a happy Saturday now, isn't it? Who cares how cold it's out when you win $5,000? All right, so I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know if they're trying something or it picked or what went on, but that is definitely not a yellow rock in the 4-foot. We'll go with it picked. Huge advantage to Walker squared, and the end has just started. You'd almost love to see this just bite top 4 fully buried. Geoff and Laura look a little worried about the weight, otherwise known as it looks like it's right into their other red one. Okay, not ideal. It's under the tee line, 2 reds under the tee line, another door cracked open for Peterman and Gallant. Weld this one right on top of that red, and you've taken advantage of the double guard you probably didn't intend to throw. Turn an unfortunate pick into a happy accident. Weld this one right on the nose. Looking pretty good. Brett managing it quite nicely. That is a really nice recovery. Tip of the hat on that one. All right, Geoff and Laura will be looking to play with it and get things moving. Or smash. I don't think they can smash. I can count really good today. I don't think they can smash yet. So change the angles. That's kind of the goal. Play that same back 8 weight and just get things bouncing around a little bit. I think they could have smashed that one. 5th rock, yeah. Anyways, doesn't matter. I like this. Get a red in there, Change the angles a little bit. So there's one lonely yellow in and amongst a whole bunch of red. They're going to try to chop off this half of the sheet, add to the pile of guards, and then make Geoff and Laura switch to the other side, which is significantly less favorable because the yellow just drives into the red one. Brett spins and looks behind him, which kind of makes you think this one also ran over something. Looking for a little kiss off. Yeah, a little bounce. There you go. Make the most of it. Still a good outcome. Something right around the hog line when he let go. He kind of spun up and took a look. Geoff and Laura wondering how to get that one pesky yellow out of the pile. They pointed out a few things, waved some arms. I'm going to go with they're smashing something. Now the yellow, yellow, red, yellow would be a pretty decent outcome for them. Get that one yellow to pop out, even though you're driving yellows into the pile to get it. Doubling off guards would be a great outcome. It's close. What do we got? Yellow! Only one yellow. Little on the thin side. So let's add to the pile. More yellows in the way, long or short. You have 14 feet of region to work with. Throw a guard. For a long guard by the sounds of it. It's got a bit of a ways to travel, but that's okay. Nice shot. And this is that whole chasing thing. When you lose the first shot war, it's complicated. You don't have enough shots to just keep trying these runbacks. It's darn tempting though. So now they're looking at the leftmost yellow because it does have a path to the red one. So you can go yellow, skinny past the other yellow, right straight into the red, and then a red and a yellow should pop out of the forefoot. Worst case scenario, you double off a pair of yellow guards. That's pretty good. So, 7/8-ish. Little wobble. The negative miss would be nose. They close. Oh, that was really close. Did get the double. That's not a bad thing. Brett and Jocelyn will be forced to keep throwing guards up there, but he was, call it a 1/8 of an inch off of an excellent shot. That was really close. All right, Jocelyn and Brett are feeling pretty good about themselves. They're well locked in there. One rock left each. Throw up a guard, and Laura's going to be pretty much forced to do the same kind of a thing. I can't see any kind of draw shot getting that yellow out, so throw up a fairly long guard and let Laura try it again. The only thing that's making Walker Squared feel a little better is the worst that's going to happen is give up one, which 5-3 is still a fairly happy situation after 5 ends, so we'll see how this goes. Brett managing it. Looks pretty good. So you definitely did something right when the first rock of the end was a picked long guard, and you still managed to set up a real good steal chance. Kudos for not giving up on that end. That was a really, really good guard. Even an inch farther of curl would have been perfect, because then Laura almost wouldn't be able to drive either guard in. Worst case scenario, though, the other red one is always still there. They might even consider that one, because that's at least pushing your own rock into the pile. It's hard to tell if it's a decent angle or not. There she goes. That's the one I would lean towards. You're driving your own rock into the pile. You're taking out a red, but your red stays. If this is done right, I think you might actually get 3. Hit just a hair high on the red in the top of the 4 foot. In theory, 1 red and 1 yellow pop out, and then, yeah, you might get 3. Really hard to tell where I'm sitting. It's quite the nest of rocks. But yes, I'd push the red one in. It's no harder than running the yellow one back. Looks like about 2/3. Normal weight. It's close. Oh, it's curling. It's over curling a bit. It's really close. Oh, it's actually thin. Oh! 1/4 inch thin. Just goes over the top. Really nice try. That was a fun end. That was a really fun end. All right, so 1 yellow on the board. So after 5 ends, we have 5-3. Which, you know what, for the quality of excitement of an exhibition match, yay for us for getting a steal. Keep it tight. Keep this as fun. All right, so we will, what should we talk about now this time while we're waiting? Okay, I'm going to do a little call out to some of the platinum sponsors of this weekend in and of itself. The town of Stettler, Stettler County, and the government of Alberta. It takes a lot of different groups to make an event like this work, and thank you to the county, the region, and the provincial government for helping to put this thing on and letting us use these arenas. Arena ice makes competitions so much more exciting, so much more balanced and tenable. Allows the ice makers to make excellent curling ice. So again, thank you to that level of involvement and allowing us to come into this rink for a week and have great curling. Thanks again to Curling Canada and Scott Pfeiffer for setting up this exhibition match. And thank you to the, I don't even know what we're at. We started with 500 viewers, but thanks to all the viewers who are enjoying this as well. All right, so we have what's now called the power play. You may or may not know what that is. Basically, the team with hammer can ask to, well, that's kind of funny. They don't actually have hammer. So, okay. So Geoff and, give me a pause there for a little bit. The team with hammer being up doesn't often do this. That's okay. They're using it in the 6th end, which is basically them trying to slam the door. What happens is the team with hammer can ask for the rocks to be off center. The primary benefit there is to keep the 4 foot open. So with only 5 rocks on each team, the play kind of gets drawn off to the side and you try to figure out how to get 2, if not 3. Worst case scenario, you got the 4 foot open for your 1. In a tight game or in a lead situation, the defending team would typically try to chip the guard out of the way. But with Jocelyn and Brett being down, they have elected to throw a center guard. Throwing a great one at that. Laura and Geoff will go underneath of that center guard. But then they'll end up sitting 2, which is a much better start than not, so that's good. Again, looking to be above the tee line. Don't want to give Brett something to freeze to. This one's hanging out a little bit. The height is really good. Brett can't hit it yet because you can't hit till till 5 rocks have come to rest. So the 6th thrown rock can hit. So Brett can't hit, so they have to figure out where to place this one to complicate things. Nose freeze would be a good one. Brett thus far has had a really good feel for draw weight, so this should be close. I don't think they would be against a short tap to push that red one under the tee line, giving them some backing to work with. Down 2, they're still sniffing for a steal. So there you go, pushed it back a little bit, that's fine. Now it starts to get a bit cagey. Geoff and Laura may try to just scatter the rocks around, which, there you go, they're going to try to push that yellow one back or through and roll theirs to the outer 12, and then they're going to have 3 reds all counting and not really near each other, making freezing all the harder. This is something we teach a lot. If you're going to hit something, hit it with just enough weight outside of the peel weights that they have to use for run backs and whatever. Rocks in the house, hit it with just enough weight because you need to keep your shooter. Oops, I spoke too soon. Maybe I cursed him a little bit. Losing the shooter there is quite detrimental because now Brett and Jocelyn can do whatever they want to and the pressure isn't added. So now they throw the exact same shot. You could still get away with a short tap, but dead frozen would be ideal. Looks a little light. Jocelyn going out to help. Or a lot light, unfortunately. But it's second. So Brett and Jocelyn kind of let that one slip a little bit. Walker Squared's going to look to do roughly the same thing. Hit and roll somewhere to the left. Ideally, keep the rock in play. Perhaps with a 2-point lead, they're not so worried about the shooter. Don't hit your back red one. That's obviously the oops. A little less weight on this one. Same general outcome. Still just a little thinner than they were after. Rinse and repeat. Get this freeze in there. Jocelyn and Brett are kind of running out of bullets. They're really looking to do something to even make Walker and Walker take their own out with a perfect freeze. Something in that vein. Wait, looks better. Really nice freeze. Little bit off nose, which does give Geoff the chance to get it out of play. Losing the back red is an obvious must if they're going to get the yellow out. Again, you'd want to keep your shooter. Keep the pressure on. Probably talk about weight right now. You could hit it nearly nose with peel. You could hit it 3/4 with normal. I don't think board would get the yellow one out. These houses are lively, but that's a fairly well frozen rock. If they were to just blast it and all the rocks leave, you'd then get Jocelyn and Brett trying to fully bury completely under the guard. They could draw down, kind of try to corner freeze the one over the far right that started the end, just to chop it off and say, hey, draw for your one. But I suspect they'd go for the 4-foot. Geoff's throwing a reasonable amount of weight. A bit tight to the guard. There you go. All the rocks leave. And draw the top 4. Fully buried, top 4, make Laura try to bite the butt. It's kind of the way this is playing out. Worst case scenario, you leave a piece of a rock sticking out. Maybe she just hits it and accepts her one, which would be a really nice defense of a power play. Again, the goal with a power play is to score 2 or more, so Jocelyn and Brett have played this one well. That center guard they threw was spot on. All right, draw the top 4. Mostly or fully buried. A little bit tight on the line, but looking close. Weight seems pretty good. Got to go bit. We've thrown a lot of rocks down this path, so that's where a pro like Brett's going to be like, you know what, these are coming up light. There you probably call it 6 inches higher than they were after. They would have liked it to have been fully into the 4-foot to make Laura's draw harder. But as I just said, this is a well-used path, and Laura's been, call it plus or minus on her weight a bit, so the pressure's there, and it's only for 1. This path is getting a little bit worn out. I think she's actually going to go... Which turn is she going to pick? I guess she'll probably stick with the same turn, even though it's a worn path. The other turn's hard with that yellow guard up on the right. Geoff's a pro too. He knows that this path is going to be a little slower now. Looking pretty good. Nice shot by Laura to take her 1. I would call that an excellent defense of a power play, so actually a small win for Peterman and Gallant. That said, 6-3 is a pretty comfortable lead. So now Peterman and Gallant have a choice to make. They have hammer. They could play their power play. So they're probably going to do that now, not wanting to keep it all the way to the 8th end. Just a question of which turn they prefer to play. And the answer is going to that side again. And we're set up, we're ready to roll. So power play is set up with the rock in the house just above the tee line and the rock out front, roughly a broom length. Usually you have little buttons in the ice to judge by, but if you're just practicing, a broom length is about the right way to set a guard. So now, in this case, as we said, the team defending power play and being up will typically play to chip the guard out of the way, but you have to do it on the backside because it's so close to the boards. If you accidentally hit it out, you would create yourself a lot of grief. So you play the outside of it, and then you have all the rest of the guard zone and house to have it come to rest. We call it the reverse tick. So here we see Laura going for it. So you throw about board weight, and you want to catch about 2 inches of that front one. A little too strong. Brett sweeps it out of play, so it goes back. But that's the general principle. Laura just hit it a little thick, possibly a little more than board weight. Guard goes back. So you typically play those to just catch the guard. You're trying to hit about an inch of it. And if you happen to skinny past it, you can actually clip the back one too. Again, you can't hit it out of play, but you do see that from time to time. Anyways, so Jocelyn and Brett now have a choice to make. Go under the guard, add to the pile, or split the house to set up a 2. You could throw another corner guard if you really wanted to try to get aggressive. Again, they can't hit it out, so plenty of choices. So they're playing to the far side of the house. No harm in going in the house and then throwing the guard second. They can't hit it yet. Geoff won't be able to hit till his next rock. So you could put this one outer 8 foot, see what they do, and then throw the guard. Little bit deep, but still fairly nice shot. So now we're going to be looking at some version of freeze. Can't hit anything. You could chip the guard out of the way again, but that's giving them now a chance to put 3 in the house. So they're going to freeze one way or the other. All right, so nice corner freeze by Walker squared. So Peterman and Gallant will probably try to bounce back a little bit. Just change those angles. You're now playing around that center guard to try to generate your 2 or 3. Just want to split those 2 rocks apart, but not hit your own out of the house. Very nice. That is almost perfect. It looks like the yellow-red will miss the back yellow. So now, I can't tell which one of those 2 is out counting the other. Okay, fine. But now you got this really interesting situation where you could actually use that for a double later. Let's say there's a red one over on this side that Geoff and Laura are throwing, and you just never quite know what might come out of this. Anyways. There's a really interesting opportunity for 3 growing. And what's interesting is Geoff and Laura, well, this looks like it might be enough to hit it out. Okay, they're good. At one point they called freeze, and I thought that was a little bit aggressive because then you're leaving yellows in play. So anyways, now they trade rocks a couple of times, and then Brett and Jocelyn have to figure out how to play something off of that yellow-red pair over there. But imagine they nose, and then red noses. Now you've got a double off of that frozen pair at the front if you want to. I do believe the red is sitting 2. So Jocelyn and Brett do have to figure this out. Oh, never mind. They're electing to play with those ones now. That's fine too. So he can actually hit that frozen pair. Create a situation where they're sitting 2, 3, 4. Very nice, very nice. And kept the red one there, so smashing the yellows. Collects. Might go yellow into the yellow though now. There was a little bit of a roll off in Brett's shot. They would have liked to have kept the yellow a bit higher. So Walker Squared is just gonna smash the front yellows and see what gets left. They probably aren't too concerned if they give up 2. They'll be up 1 coming home with Hammer. A little close to the guard. Yeah. Ooh, did manage to get all the yellows out. Nicely done. I thought the one might stick, but he got it tight enough to the guard. All right, so freeze the one in the middle or tuck one underneath. That red at the back could be a catcher, so this draw underneath the reds is fine. I kind of like that choice a little more than the freeze, but the freeze is an option. All right, so Brett trying for exactly that. Draw as long as it's second and at least partially buried under that red in the top 12. Looking pretty good. Nicely by and bite, 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 bite. All right, there you go. That's fully buried. So they're just going to chase it down. They actually almost made it too good. You almost would have liked to have left. There's good English. Me speak good. You almost would have liked to have left. Well, I still can't say it. About a quarter of the rock sticking out to bait them into trying to hit it and either crash on the front or catch on the back. They did the draw so good, but it's under the tee line. So Laura's just going to try to freeze right down to it, and that's a force of 1 in the making. All right, Laura with the freeze attempt. Nice clean path inside out. It'll run a little bit faster than they got on that outside in last end. A little bit of a clean pebble path. Geoff's kind of giving this the warm look. He's got a broom down. It's close. Looking really good. Got to get by the front one. Got to get by the front one. Didn't get by the front one. Okay. That leaves double for 2. It should go over top of the yellow where I'm sitting. It looks like it. So, bit of a steep double. Laura got away with it a bit, but it is makeable. Make it. You're down 1 and still in the game. Miss it. Possibly a good time to say good exhibition. So yes, we got about a quarter rock double, if not slightly less than quarter. Tough shot, tough shot. Make it in the game's much alive. All right, so Jocelyn with a, doesn't have to overthrow it, probably control, maybe somewhere in that ballpark. Quarter rock, thin double for another end. Brett's on it pretty early. It's close. Bang! Bang! Oh, that was close. Just a hair thick, skin right over the top of it. I think I actually heard a click of the rocks. That said, steal of 1 by Walker Squared, making it 7-3. So in the interest of this being practice and entertainment, kudos to them to keep going. Peterman and Gallant are being real hard pressed. They got to generate a 4 without power play. But in mixed doubles, anything can happen. So if I'm Laura and I'm up and I'm throwing first, I'm most likely going to try to throw this back 8-ish and just split that yellow one out of the 4-foot. No need to get cute. This path must be very well worn. They haven't thrown a lot of interns in this scenario. Both teams electing to play the out turn and really have worn down that path. So they've actually thrown a rock into that pit of death again. So that gives Jocelyn and Brett a really nice opportunity to drop this one into the top 4, and who knows, see what magic they can make. Still sticking with the out turn. Guess they're gambling that they can deal with the heavier ice more so than try to switch turns. Fair, fair. This one's really dying as well. A little bit more than Laura's, not a lot. Or not. That one really came down as well. Geoff's turn to try to put one into the top 4. This one looks notably heavier than the last two. It's really hanging out there. Here it goes. Okay, so now they're looking to just push that one through. Geoff's giving them plenty of room past those two at the front of the house. So if Brett can get 7/8 low with back 12, he'll flip underneath the pile. Brett's really trying to make it get over there. They got to get tight to those front ones. Little thick. Ooh. Okay, okay. Workable. All right, here's a good opportunity to slam the door in the face. Make a double takeout on those two yellows. Leaving them with one little yellow way at the front, buried. So Geoff's looking for Half rock double here. What do we got? Lead with the double. Coming in. It's actually looking a little thick. It's close. 1, 2. No. What? Made contact. Still looking for the top of the forefoot. Ooh, maybe not one more try. I don't mind it. I guess Brett's saying he needs to get one of those reds out of play to get that front yellow one in any chance, so I can see that. Does significantly reduce the complexity of her squared shot, but hey, you got to make that front one count. Running out of rocks. Looking for just a little hit and roll. Nicely done. Laura, I'm sure, will just say, crack this yellow. Geoff said, Laura, go back to the house. I want to target. If he gets this thin, it will catch the other yellow on the way by. Or they could just hit and roll on top of the other one, which is kind of the path it looks like they're taking. Ooh, that's getting real close to the front. There you go. Really nice shot by Geoff. That's kind of the exit light turning on. So what do we got here? We got red, yellow, red. But how do you not lose the back yellow? Trying to unlock those front ones and see if they can't create an opportunity with their last rock. Not so much. Laura just needs to remove a yellow. Apparently they're running short on time, so they're going to call it a timeout. This was a timed event. Like I say, they are doing their best to emulate true competition. Thanks very much to the Walker and Walker duo to come out and give Peterman and Gallant some practice before their next series of events. They do have to go and qualify for, I believe it's Worlds, if I get the pattern right. Anyways, Jocelyn and Brett do have some work to do this year, so this is a very good opportunity for them. So thanks to Curling Canada for setting it up. Thanks to Curling Alberta and Stettler and all the above for helping it happen. Laura with the takeout. Let's see what we got. Looking pretty good. Easy sweep. Bang. That's run out of rocks. Handshakes and smiles all around. Thank you to everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I strongly encourage you to stay on in the next 10 minutes for the next draw to start. Thanks again.
The 11-year wait for revenge worth it? Let's have a big hand for Jocelyn and Brett and Geoff and Laura for coming out and giving us an exhibition. And how about a warm stand-off for Jocelyn and Brett as they go to the Mixed World Championships and then on to the Olympics, okay? Thanks again, guys. If you're seeing those uniforms up in the hut there, I'm sure someone will buy you a drink.